Good, and we are live. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Kat Shear, and this is a special presentation from Clydesdale Media. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone about our sponsors. RX Smart Gear provides world-class jump ropes, grips, and other gear for us all. Use the code Clydesdale15 for 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. Mobility Movement is a program that teaches you how to increase your capacity to heal, reduce recovery time, and restore your nervous system to peak health. Everyone gets a 7-day trial, and after that, our followers will get their first month for free when they use the code Clydesdale Free Month at mobilitymovement.com. And finally, C4 Energy, delivering the most effective, best tasting, and highest quality products. Get 20% off when you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at c4energy.com. Today on Meet the Athlete, we are chatting with Granite Games semifinalist Lindsay Derby. Lindsay, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for taking the time. We are a little less than a week away from, I think, what will be your first appearance at a CrossFit qualifying event. Is that correct?
That is correct, Kat.
How are you feeling?
Excited. I've been kind of sick, and then I had the salmonella peanut butter last week. So
Oh no.
The last couple weeks have been a little bit rough on my training, but regardless, I'm really excited to see what I got.
That's good. How old are you, Lindsay?
30.
You're 30. Okay. Give us a little bit of your athletic background and sort of your CrossFit story, your origin story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I was a gymnast for 10 years. I grew up in Oklahoma, did gymnastics for basically my whole life. And then when I quit, I was pretty anti-competition for a while because I was just in the gym for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I just kind of was over competing. And so I played a lot of ultimate frisbee in college, which was fun, but kind of more like a social type of fun. And then I got into rock climbing and mountain biking towards the end of college and after college. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, where there's decent climbing and mountain biking. And then I moved to Indiana back in 2016, August of 2016, with an ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
And when I moved here, there's not a good climbing or mountain biking group that I could find. And I've always made my friends doing activities. So some of my old gymnastics coaches, one of them actually started T-Town CrossFit out in Tulsa. Paige Millspaw, she was really into CrossFit. And then my other gymnastics coach, Sherry Young, I talked to her, and they just really encouraged me to try CrossFit because I'd been interested in it, and a bunch of people had told me that I would do decent with it, and I would make friends, and I needed friends. So I started in kind of just sporadically coming in January of 2017, and still just kind of just to be social and be active. But then in August of 2019, so I did it on and off for a couple years, and then in August of 2019, just kind of decided I wanted to see what I could do with putting in a good effort and seeing if I could be competitive with it. And one of my good friends that was here, he just started programming for me, and it's just kind of been my life ever since.
So you competed in gymnastics, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you were a competitive gymnast. And so what do you think took you that long? Or did you compete in other things? When you did the rock climbing and all that other stuff, presumably that was just kind of recreational. You weren't training to go on Ninja Warrior or anything like that.
No, a lot of people ask me if I would be interested in doing Ninja Warrior, and it's never really been a thing. Yeah, I did. I did competitions, and in ultimate frisbee, I was on a club team, so we did competitions, but it just wasn't the 20 to 25 hours a week of training that I was doing as a gymnast. So I just got really burned out of being in the gym. When I quit gymnastics, I was I don't know how to make friends. I didn't know how to be social. And so it just kind of swung in the social direction for a little bit, while also maintaining my love for just being active and outside and stuff. And so, yeah, I was just really burned out of competition. And then once I got into CrossFit and kind of saw or felt my potential, I guess, I was I was pretty amped to try to see if I could get to where I am today. So
Yeah, that's super cool. So when did you decide that qualifying for the CrossFit Games as an individual was your goal? Because there's one thing to sort of just do it, but now you're kind of in it.
I know. Kind of like in 2019, so in August of 2019, I used to guide like mountain biking and mountaineering and backpacking all summer. So I'm a teacher full time, and then in the summers I would take off and guide backpacking and mountain biking and all these things, and it was super fun. But then I didn't. So summer of 2019, I just kind of like realized that every time I did that, like I'd come back to the gym feeling like doo-doo. And I didn't like that. I liked seeing the progress that I was having in the gym. And so after that summer, I just kind of decided that I wanted to make my focus. I mean, I feel like I have like until my mid 30s to like push it. And
Sure.
since I'm a teacher and I have like a good schedule, I have good breaks. I have a really sweet setup at my gym. Like I bring my dog and he coaches with me. And then, you know, like I come in the mornings and I come in the evenings. My husband's here. Like my life is here. So it's kind of like, why not go for it? I have the time. I have the like mental fortitude to do it right now. So
Yeah.
I always like to say like if I'm not pushing myself like mentally, physically, and like spiritually or psychologically, like I'm not living a full life. And I felt like if I wasn't pushing myself in this realm physically, then I wasn't giving myself the optimum like life. I don't know, some along those lines. That makes
I like
sense.
that. Yeah, that does make sense. So you're out of CrossFit Praus. Do you have a coach aside from
Yeah.
your dog?
So Lucian Bohr, he's a physical therapist. He's actually this is his office. He has his office out of our gym, which is nice because he kind of like keeps me. Why? And that's
Is that
him
him?
commenting.
That's
So
what I figured.
hello. Um, so he keeps all my joints good, and then also like back in August of 2019, he just kind of like I told him that I wanted to like do this thing, and he has his like strength and conditioning cert, and he's also a coach, and he just kind of ran with it. I came back from guiding one of those trips, and I came back and he was like, hey, I have something for you. And he just had like a whole like 4 months programming for me to like build strength and work on my weaknesses. And so the past 2.5 years, we've just been kind of like figuring out the best way to work together through that. And it's been really fun. Like we use SugarWOD now for our programming, and I have a couple other people here that are doing it with me. And
Nice.
so yeah, he's our in-house physical therapist. He's my coach. He's one of my best friends. He was the officiant at my wedding. Like
Oh, wow.
he wears all
Okay.
the hats for sure.
Those ties run deep. Did you get a chance to watch semifinals this weekend and last weekend?
Yeah, I've been eating it up.
Okay. So what are
had
some
a
of your
couple-
key takeaways?
Well, I've had a couple of friends in both Syndicate and in the MAC. Some girls I competed with at TFX. A lot of them were in the MAC. So watching them do really well, like, was really encouraging because, again, I've never been in this level. So I'm like, do I belong? Like, am I just going to embarrass myself? Which I probably will, but that's okay. So, I mean, key takeaways are just, like, have fun and push to the end. Like, again, I've done all I can at this point. You know, all I can do now is like get my body prepped and have the right attitude and mentality with it. Yeah, like the cool thing about CrossFit is like you just got to work your weaknesses and do your best on game day. Stay in your own lane, which I'm gonna do my best to stay in my own lane.
Stick to your plan. What do you think about the events?
I'm really excited for some of them. It was cool. So I practiced all of them this weekend. There's a lot of running, which luckily over the past couple months I've been practicing my running because I'm not naturally beyond like a 100-meter sprint. I kind of like tank a little bit.
Okay.
So I've been trying really hard to improve that. So I'm excited to kind of see what I can do there. It'll be interesting that it's outside. I think that adds a whole nother element to have to deal with. I mean, our gym doesn't have AC or anything, so I'm kind of used to bearing down in the heat or the cold or whatever. So I think that'll be okay. But yeah, I'm most excited for like the reverse Fran, heavy handstand reverse Fran one.
Okay.
I like gymnastics and I like sprints. So that one I'm most excited for. The long grindy one with a bunch of running and sled pushes and pulls, and like I did that one yesterday and I did better than I expected, but I also like just gonna have to pace it, you know. Again, try to stay in my own lane, so I'm not like trying to race the girl next to me who's way better at endurance than I am. So
do you ever find that when you practice events that you don't love, how do you sort of get out of that headspace of like, okay, now it's coming again, I know what it's going to feel like, I know how bad it's going to hurt, but you still have to do it?
I just kind of do it. I use the one I do in practice as practice. I try not to like I try to use it as just like a tool to figure out what my pacing needs to be, or like, okay, like I broke down in the ring muscle ups. Okay, I need to do shorter sets and shorter rest, which is like kind of an ego pill to swallow, you know, like if you can do 10 plus in a row, like you want to start off with 10 plus in a row, but then what happens after that, you know? And so when I practice, I kind of like go into it with a certain game plan, and then afterwards me and Lucci will like break down what went well, where we can maybe adjust, and then sorry, I just saw my comment from my husband.
Yeah, your husband has entered the chat officially.
Great, I love it. Yeah, they're all doing Murph out there, and so I told him, I was like,
fun.
You can, you know, make me feel embarrassed. But yeah, so yeah, it's always gonna hurt. Like that's a part of CrossFit. Like for some reason we decide to keep doing it even though it hurts. So there's not. It doesn't really ever enter my mind beforehand, like when it's gonna hurt. It's more about like where am I gonna adjust, or like what the plan is to adjust and stuff like that. So.
So speaking of friends and family, who all will be cheering you on next weekend in person?
I've got quite the crew, actually. So Lucci and his girl Jenna, they're gonna come out. Jenna's one of my really good friends too. She was also at my wedding. Trevor's mom is gonna drive out with us. My mom is gonna drive from Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
My friend from Indy is gonna fly out. Her name's Liz. She's been to Granite games before, and she's like a super good athlete. So it'll be fun to have her there. She just got injured this year, so she couldn't compete this season. My friend Kate, who was at Syndicate, Kate Kaylor, I don't even know how's her last name. She last minute decided to come. She's got a couple friends from the Northeast that are going to be competing as well. So that'll be fun to see her. And then my husband, he'll be there, but he has to. He's traveling for work that week, so he's flying to Georgia this Wednesday, and he's going to fly to Minnesota Thursday night, and then fly back to Georgia Sunday night.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And then he'll fly back home next Wednesday. So he loves me.
Of course he does. Now, will Lucian have your coach's pass?
Lucci will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what would you say your overall goal for the weekend is, Lindsay?
I think my overall goal is just to like execute as well as I know I can. And again, just like I always say, like the only thing I can control is my effort. So like really trying to make sure that I leave the competition knowing I put in my best effort in every single moment. And then also I just want to soak in every moment, you know, like it's my first time there. I'm going to like freak out when I see girls like Danny Spiegel and Amanda Barnhart and Mal O'Brien, and Fisa Goffi is really strong. Like Granite Games is freaking stacked. Like, like, all right, here we go. So yeah, I just want to soak it all in. I have like some ideas about like placing and stuff that I would like to hit, but I'm also doing my best not to like latch on to anything like that, because again, I can't control that. I can't control who my competitors are and what their strengths and weaknesses are, or how they attack things. I can only control like what I've got going on. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best to do that.
If you get a chance to meet Fee behind the scenes, chat up with her. She is probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just an amazing person, and she'd be a great
She's just like
person for
super
you to.
encouraging or something.
She's just wonderful. Yeah, in every way. She's a sweetheart. And I imagine, while she's competing, she's, a little bit less, more focused on herself, but guaranteed on downtimes and like athlete control. Just introduce yourself to her. She's a sweetheart. I love her a
Okay,
lot.
well, if I'm not too nervous, I will.
Yeah, you should. Don't let the nerves get to you.
Little no-name Lindsay walking around feeling like maybe I belong. I don't know.
So who is Goob?
Goob is my dog. Hey,
Okay.
Come here. He is my dog. My coach actually made. Hey, Goob, come here. He actually made some T-shirts this year. Come here.
Okay.
And my only stipulation was that I wanted Goob's face. Oh, you're okay. Oh, I know. This is
he's
Goob.
chatty. What a cutie.
He's a blue
What
healer
is his
mix.
Okay, I was gonna say blue here. He's got that mottled look.
Yes. He's a blue healer mix. He went for a run this morning, so he's a little bit annoyed with me right now. Okay, you can get down. I know.
What's it like being there and not doing Murph? Is that weird for you? Or I guess you haven't been doing this for too long. I know, like I started in 2013, and when you don't do it, it feels weird.
It feels a little weird, but also like Murph hurts, so like, and it makes my arms hurt for like a week after. So I'm not like too upset.
Yeah, you have no business doing it.
No, I'm not too upset about missing that. It is fun to like build that community with everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm here, so at least that's been fun. Like to see everyone else like putting in the work as I'm just like pedaling lightly on a bike.
Yeah.
So
what do you teach?
Special education at the high school
grades,
level.
Or what age? High
10th
school
through
level.
10th grade through 12th grade.
Okay.
I've been doing that since I moved here back in 2016. So that's fun. Like those kids, I find a lot of motivation to help them through school.
I'm sure.
It's almost like academic coaching, because half the time they're just like feeling really down about their schooling or whatever life thing is going on, and so it's been fun to kind of encourage them through that and like help them see the other side of it and like find plans for afterwards and stuff.
Yeah. What do you like to do for fun when you're not training?
So I still like to mountain bike. So this summer, if I don't make it onto the games, I'll probably start mountain biking a lot more with my husband. Trevor and I, we go rollerblading with our dog, with Goob. Goob pulls Trevor. So that's always fun. I would like to garden. We're trying to grow some veggies. Indiana's pretty good at growing stuff, so might as well try that. I like to cook. I like to read. Yeah.
Any interest in putting yourself out there for MFC next year in October?
We will see. I think like it depends on just where I'm at, like mentally at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would want to do it. I just probably wouldn't be like in my utmost like best performance level, like the comp is run really well, and I went to it. So this last year I was getting married that weekend, so I wasn't there to like watch.
Okay.
But the year before, I went and watched and cheered on some friends, and it was really fun. Like I think it's run really well, and it's cool to see like the fountain of youth that is CrossFit. Like so many of these masters athletes who just look strong, look healthy. Like it's cool to see. So, and Matt Apple does a good job putting it on, so it's fun to kind of be there for that.
Yeah. Well, if you don't, maybe think about coming and judging.
Yeah, I know they always need judges. That's like judging is so exhausting.
It is.
Like, the people that do it, I commend them so much. Like, oh my gosh, it's exhausting, and like, yeah, it's stressful. What if you
Yep.
like miscount?
Yep.
Like, you know,
Been there, done that.
I'm sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll probably be there in some form or fashion. Typically, Praus has like some volunteers that have helped out in the past. So yeah, definitely
That'd be
interested
great.
in it.
That'd be great. All right, so my last question. I'm a spectator at Granite Games. I just watched you compete, right? I'm leaving the stadium and I go home and I tell my friend about the competition and I say to her, man, that Lindsay Derby, she's blank. What do you want me to say about you?
Oh, Lindsay, that's a hard question.
Put you on the spot.
So something I really love is like Ariel Lowen has always seemed to have just like the best attitude on the floor. Just like really excited to be there, hungry to do well, and like puts her head down and goes. She's not like super flashy or anything. She just kind of like grinds through and like does a really good job. And at the end of the weekend, like you can't help but to be impressed with what she does. But then she also just has this like great attitude throughout. So I think I would want to emulate something similar to that. Like I always want to like inspire people to do more, go after their goals. So I would hope that whatever I do on the field can kind of translate that way. I always want to be encouraging and welcoming to anyone and everyone, regardless of their fitness goals or their life goals. So I would hope that that's what people take away from me that weekend.
Awesome. Well, I'll be watching from home. Goob will be watching from home, I take it?
Yeah, we got an Airbnb that allows dogs, but I feel like that'd be kind of stressful to have someone else take care of them. I kind of just want to be in the zone. So
yeah,
the owner of our gym, her daughter is gonna go. Actually, the owner of our gym is actually coming too. I forgot. She and my friend Lauren are also gonna be at the comp. They're just driving out like the day after us, so I kind of like slipped my mind. So I have a really big group. But yeah, Misty's daughter is gonna watch Goob for the weekend for me. So they have a farm.
Awesome.
He hangs out.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He can herd some things, just like he's bred to do.
Yes, he loves doing that.
Well, it was nice to get to know you, Lindsay. I won't be there personally, but my co-host Scott Schweitzer will be there. Annie Giddens can introduce you guys.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching. Best of luck. Have a great time, and thanks a lot for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate it.